Celebrity voice impersonation not an endorsement.
Why go to a single furniture store when you can go to Big Sandy Superstore? Shop and compare America's top 5 mattress brands, plus Nectar and Purple. And choose from over 22,000 in-stock appliances from the top brands at the guaranteed lowest price. Or furnish the room of your dreams with a large selection of American-built furniture. With financing plans for just about anyone, there's nowhere else quite like it. Big Sandy Superstore.
This is the smell of a warm 3-day-old egg salad sandwich in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech! And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag with new Fabuloso lemon scent.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Smell the difference? When life gives you stinky, get Hefty Ultra Strong with new Fabuloso lemon scent. It smells like clean, freshly picked lemons. So no matter what's inside your trash, you can stop the stink and smell the lemon.
Hello, good morning, angels, and welcome to the very first episode of the Morning Rae podcast with me, Lea B. I'm so excited to be here and be able to talk to you guys on this new medium. You know, you guys have been really requesting that I start a podcast, and I've always listened to podcasts for at least for the past 2 years, so why not? Anyways, what is Morning Rae and what is the Morning Rae podcast with me, Lea B, gonna be all about? Well, the name Morning Rae originally was Sun Ray, then Ray of Light. At one point, it was Ray of Sunshine, and then randomly, the Lea B podcast. I mean, maybe not so randomly because Lea B fit. I was talking to my friend Emily, and we were talking about merch and how I should do some Lea B merch on some Lululemon apparel. But for some reason, this sparked the idea of Morning Rae. God knows what I was thinking, but Morning Rae was what came to mind. And the whole idea behind Morning Rae is like the morning light, the morning rays. You know me for waking up at 6:30 a.m. in the morning. I know, psycho, right? But I just thought this would be suiting and we could launch it on a Monday morning to start our weeks off together. So here we are, Morning Rae with Lea B. And I'm so excited to get to know you guys on this new platform and to be able to talk to you guys in a little more raw and real way. I mean, I'm pretty raw and real on Instagram, but let's be real. Instagram is a highlight reel still. So I'm here to break down more barriers, get to know you more, share some insight and light, inspire you to get motivated, get driven, and change up your lifestyle. So that's what Morning Rae is all about. I've decided that we're also going to do some segments. The first segment that I would like to introduce you guys to is our weekly intention. You know, I love having my daily intentions and weekly intentions in my journal prompts that I share with you guys on my Instagram at LeanieBFit. So I decided that we would do a weekly intention on the pod. So the weekly intention for this week is to limit my screen time on my phone and for my social media apps like TikTok and Instagram. Let's be real, we're all mindlessly scrolling, especially me. I checked my screen time the other day and kid you not, it was 13 hours. Disgusting, I know. So I'm going to challenge myself and discipline myself a little bit. I've set a 6-hour time limit between TikTok and Instagram. Originally, this was 3 hours and then 5. I decided that 6 was the perfect amount as it kind of splits it between TikTok and Instagram. So what I've realized is that when you choose certain apps to set time limits on in your settings, it will do a combined total. So the time spent on TikTok and Instagram together will be limited at 6 hours, not 6 hours for TikTok and then 6 hours for Instagram. I thought 6 hours was perfectly reasonable, 3 hours for each app. Then I've also decided to set downtime. So downtime is when many of my apps will be restricted, similarly how I have a limit for TikTok and Instagram. The only apps I'll be able to access are messages, phone, books, because I like to read before bed on my iPad, and podcasts and FaceTime. These apps will be available on all my Apple devices, but all the rest will not be accessible, even Instagram if I try to go on Safari on my computer. So I decided to set downtime between 10:30 p.m. and 6:50 a.m. That way I have time to zen out and get ready for bed and then also wake up in the morning without being distracted by my phone. The next segment I have is What My Therapist Said. This segment is inspired by my old favorite podcast, which sadly no longer is airing, but it's Schnitt Talk with Ellie Schnitt and Alana. I forget her last name. I decided that because you guys love to hear so much about my therapy journey, which I've just started a month ago, why not share what my therapist said? During my therapy session this past week, we were discussing how sometimes the traumas of your past can kind of cause and taint a little bit of your future. So, something that my therapist Tamar said was sometimes we have to shed the last few layers of our past in order to move forward. I thought I'd share this with you guys. I thought it was really insightful. As much as I seem confident and have a high self-esteem, that wasn't always the case. And sometimes my low self-esteem from my past can drag a little bit into my present day life. So I'm working on shedding those last few layers. Now, I also want to give you guys a little tip of the week. This is something to keep top of mind throughout the week to maybe motivate you to try something new or change up your lifestyle. My tip of the week is kind of in line with my weekly intention, and that is to be mindful of when you're on your phone to stop mindlessly scrolling and refreshing. I realized that I have a habit of just refreshing my notifications on Instagram and TikTok when I could be doing so much more and being so much more productive in other areas of my life and being so much more present. So I challenge you to be mindful of when you're on your phone and what you are exactly doing. My next and final segment are my current favorites. I've decided that I'd like to share a little bit of what I'm currently loving, whether it be health, fitness, beauty, fashion, lifestyle, whatever it may be, I would share exactly what I'm currently loving. So let's get to it. Number one on my list is my new Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm. Yes, it's $29, but it is so worth it, and I got it on the Sephora VIP sale. Totally recommend. My lips feel so smooth. They look so glossy and glamorous, and I highly recommend. The next is putting coconut oil or MCT oil in my coffee. Yes, you've heard that here first, coconut oil. If you've been following me on my TikTok, you would be seeing this in my morning routine, but I like adding coconut oil into my milk that I'm frothing for my coffee. Now, you're going to ask, why may I do that? So I learned from my friend Haley, the plant-eating pig, that adding coconut oil or MCT oil helps elongate how long it will take for your caffeine to be released. I've noticed that when I wake up at 6:30 a.m., at first I was crashing. I wasn't feeling that energized throughout the day. I kind of hit a point where I just felt really tired and I was getting that post-coffee crash, which I never really experienced before. So Haley suggested that I add coconut oil. Not only does the coconut oil help make the caffeine last longer, but it also adds a creaminess to it without adding any sugar or any of that stuff. So I highly recommend. Then the last favorite I have on my list is my new blue light glasses. I've been wearing them all week, and let me tell you, I'm so obsessed. They are by the brand Tingen or Tijn, and they're just these tortoiseshell, oversized, kind of boxy, round. I kind of suck at describing glasses, but you get the gist. You've probably seen them on my TikTok or Instagram or something of that sort. But anyways, I've been loving them. Blue light glasses are my new best friend, especially because I am doing Zoom classes. I'm on my computer editing. I'm on my computer writing my work. I'm just spending so much time on my computer, and blue light is harmful. So I love these blue light glasses, and they're super cute. I thought before we get into the little Q&A part of the pod that I would introduce myself a little bit more so that you can get to know me. Not all of you may be coming from my Instagram or TikTok or YouTube, so I thought I'd help introduce myself. Well, hey, my name's Alana Rae Bloomberg, hence the Rae in Morning Rae. You can call me Lanny, Alana, Lanny B, Rae, whatever you please. I am 21 years old from Toronto, Canada. I've always lived here. I grew up dancing competitively from the age of 8, but I began dancing at 3. I did every type of dance underneath the sun, all the basics: tap, jazz, ballet, hip hop, lyrical, contemporary, you name it. And of course, yes, I was a huge Dance Moms fan. I'm Team Maddie all the way, but still love Chloe. I currently go to Ryerson University in Toronto and I study marketing. I actually switched here in my third year of university after going to Wilfrid Laurier in Waterloo. And I work part-time at Lululemon in-store as an educator. I have been working for Lulu for the past year or so now, and I absolutely love it and aspire to work for their headquarters one day. So let's manifest it and put it out there. Now on to the Q&A section. I pulled these questions from both my podcast Instagram, Morning Rae Podcast, and my personal, Lanny B Fit. The first question we have is, if you could change one thing that happened in your social life, what would it be? I think the one thing that I would change is to care less about what other people think of me and to not worry so much about the social hierarchy. It consumed me, and I'm happy to say that this no longer consumes me anymore. But it was definitely something that I seemed to value when I was younger and when I was in high school and for the first 2 years of my university experience. So to my younger self, I would say to focus on having higher quality friends, whether that be fewer friends over having more friends that may not have your best interest at heart. Someone asked what my favorite shows, movies, and YouTubers are. So I thought this would be a little fun and spicy question to share. My favorite shows are Gossip Girl. Being super busy can make it really easy to fall into a dinner time recipe rut, or even with your lunches. Any meal, honestly, can get you into a rut, especially with a busy schedule this fall. You can keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every single week, so there's always something delicious to discover with HelloFresh. It's truly a no-brainer. It does all the shopping and meal planning for you. Ingredients arrive at your doorstep, pre-proportioned and ready to cook, along with pictured step-by-step recipe cards. It's never been easier. I personally love HelloFresh as a way to get exposure to new recipes, make my life a bit easier as a busy 20-year-old in the city. And I love that it's worry-free, it's super easy, it's convenient, and gets delivered straight to my door. Go to hellofresh.com/50rae and use code 50rae for 50% off plus free shipping. That's hellofresh.com/50rae and use code 50rae, 50rae for 50% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit, and thank you for sponsoring today's episode of Morning Rae.
This is the smell of a warm 3-day-old egg salad sandwich in a wimpy trash bag.
Wimpy, wimpy, wimpy!
Blech. And this is the smell of that same sandwich in a hefty, ultra-strong trash bag with new Fabuloso lemon scent.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Smell the difference? When life gives you stinky, get Hefty Ultra Strong with new Fabuloso lemon scent. It smells like clean, freshly picked lemons. So no matter what's inside your trash, you can stop the stink and smell the lemon.
Wow, I suck at this. This is great. I literally watch a million one things on Netflix. I binge everything, but I haven't watched in a bit. But Gossip Girl and 90210 are probably my all-time favorites, and I would watch them again in a heartbeat. Movies, my classic favorite is The Princess Diaries, but I'm a sucker for all things rom-com, and you will start to learn that about me. YouTubers, I've been watching YouTube since I was 12 years old. My sister used to make fun of me for watching Mac Barbie 07 and Claudia Zalewski when she was back in her blue room, but here I am, and my sister is now asking me to do her makeup whenever she has a wedding to attend. So, hey, I guess I learned something, and now I make my own YouTube videos, which is pretty sick and full circle. But I would have to say my favorite YouTubers are Margot Lee, Brooke Michio, Claudia Zalewski, Lauren Elizabeth, Kenzie Elizabeth, Rachel Reiki, I think that's how you pronounce her last name. Those are definitely my current faves. Oh, and Emma Chamberlain, she's a new fave. Love her. What are my go-to breakfast meals? They alternate between protein oats or regular oats and a protein smoothie. I love having a sweet breakfast, always have, always will, and they're just bomb. You guys can check out my Instagram or TikTok for all my go-to recipes, but you will find me constantly eating both of those. Someone asked me, what are you studying in school right now? What are you hoping to have as a job? And what are your current goals? I kind of touched on this already, but I'm studying marketing management. That is my major, and my minor is retail management. When I was younger, I really wanted to go into fashion design, something of that sort. But I realized that I also really like business and marketing and the behind the scenes of all of it. So I decided to go with a retail management minor, which allows me to look at the retail space. So the stores, the fashion lines, all the good stuff from a business perspective. I typically pick the marketing courses or the branding courses, even the buying courses from the retail management minor program, and that is what I'm focusing on. I would love to work for Lululemon headquarters, either in their community outreach team or some sort of position on their marketing team, or even their social team. So if you head on Instagram, you can see that Lululemon has their own main account as well as Lululemon city account. So you can see Lululemon TO, Lululemon LA, and so on. I'd love to be on that team, and I think it's a sick job. My current goals are to, 1, go on exchange to Australia. I was supposed to go in March 2021, but unfortunately, because of the pandemic, that is being pushed to March 2022. So let's manifest that happens. Another goal of mine is to graduate from university in 2022. This is a year later than I would typically be graduating, but who cares? We are not in a rush here. Slow and steady wins the race. Another goal of mine is to grow my social media platforms and hit different goals. They're constantly changing because I'm constantly being shocked at how fast some of my platforms are growing, and I'm forever grateful and thankful for all of your support. Another one is to eventually move out and live in my own condo, either by myself or with a roommate in downtown Toronto or LA or Australia or maybe even Vancouver. Who knows what the future holds? I guess those sum up my current goals. A listener asked, oh, that sounds so cool. A listener asked, dating during a pandemic. How am I doing with COVID and how I'm handling it? So dating during a pandemic, let me tell you, it is not always so fun. It is not always easy, but the dating apps are quite a treat, I guess you could say. I'm on Hinge and somehow I got on Raya. Please let me know. I don't know, but I appreciate being able to see David Dobrik and other fun celebrities and athletes on there. I mean, I haven't really met anyone from there, but it's just fun and entertaining. But back to Hinge. I have gone on a few Hinge dates during the pandemic. I've always been super safe, kept social distance. I feel like my list of things to buy, to do, activities that involve spending money is never ending around the holidays, making the idea of investing and saving and thinking about your future to be a little bit more challenging, a little bit more overwhelming. Acorns makes it easy to start automatically saving and investing for you, your kids, and your retirement, even during the holidays. You don't need to be an expert. Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that matches you. You don't need a ton of time. You can create your Acorns account and start automatically investing your money in just 5 minutes. You don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you get started with the spare money you've got right now. That could be $5 a day or even just your spare change. That's right, Acorns can round every purchase you make up to the dollar and automatically invest your spare change for you. And you can get bonus investments just for buying the stuff you need from the brands you love. I personally love Acorns. It's simplified the investment process, which can be overwhelming and intimidating, but it just makes it so simple, so easy, and something more accessible no matter how much money you have to invest. Head to acorns.com/Alana or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. View important disclosures at acorns.com/Alana. I'm super excited about today's sponsor. They've sponsored the podcast before, and this is a topic I'm super passionate about. I fear that us as girls struggle with PMS far more than we should, and we really shouldn't. I truly get the worst PMS symptoms. My boobs are sensitive, my face breaks out, my sugar controllings are out of whack. I feel like I'm just a bottomless pit. My mood is not the vibe, and Estro Control has been super helpful in helping manage those PMS symptoms and making that time of the month a lot more enjoyable. Estro Control is a formula developed by Happy Mammoth, a supplement company dedicated to making women's lives easier. Say no more. Estro Control contains science-backed herbal extracts that help support hormonal health, especially if you are someone like myself who struggles with PMS. It was created to help women feel like themselves all month long and to not struggle with the feelings PMS can cause. For a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use the code Alana at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code Alana for 15% off today. And been very particular about who I go out with and always make sure to ask the necessary questions to ensure that I'm comfortable, such as how are they staying safe? Have they been out of the country? I mean, it is a bit more personal than you would have to be on a first date, but I think it's pretty important with COVID at play. In terms of how I'm doing pretty great actually. I'm probably the happiest I've been in a while. I feel super good, super happy, super confident. I do go through spells of low body image, but I feel like that's totally normal and totally okay and perfectly human. In terms of how I'm dealing with COVID, I'm spending a lot of time outside while I still can before it gets freezing in Toronto because it gets really, really cold and I'm dreading that. But I'm enjoying being outside for as long as I can. Who knew I would be going on walks in November because I didn't. But definitely keeping myself busy between school, working at Lulu, and seeing friends in my social circle and doing all my social media stuff is really helpful. A listener asked, what are your favorite clothing brands? I'd have to say Lululemon, of course. I work there. I live in their clothes. You know I love Lulu. My next would be Aritzia, probably Zara, and then Princess Polly. Advice for dealing with burnout. So burnout is something I have experienced or I have felt coming on. It's really important to tune in how you're feeling and be aware of how you're mentally feeling and physically. I experience burnout sometimes when it comes to YouTube as well as working out if I push myself too hard and forget to take rest days. I think it's important to know that it's okay to step back, calm down, and pause. What I mean by pause, I mean take a break from whatever it is that is really stressing you out and wearing you down, whether it be that school paper, that assignment at work, that presentation, or that insane HIIT workout that you have planned for every single day this week. I think it's important to slow down, take a deep breath, practice some square breathing, do a gentle yoga stretch, take a nice hot shower or bath, and read a book and light a candle. Taking a night off or a day off or a few, maybe a week, can really help re-energize and reset you. And that's typically how I would deal with burnout. I was asked book recommendations for books I love and books that inspired you. In terms of books I love, I am a huge junkie for rom-coms and romance novels of any sort. The first two on my list are both by Renee Carlino. The first one is Before We Were Strangers, and the second was Wish You Were Here. The next book I have is One Day in December by Josie Silver, followed by Normal People by Sally Rooney. I have not watched the show, however, the book was really good. It got a bit sad by the end, but I really, really liked it. The last book for books that I love is It Ends With Us by the Queen herself, Colleen Hoover. I got a lot of these recommendations from both Kenzie and Lauren Elizabeth. I highly recommend you check out their reads highlight as well as my own on Lanny BFit. In terms of books that inspire, I'm currently reading these two. I haven't finished them, but I am definitely loving them and learning new things about life and mindset and how to go about it. The first one is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. I really like it. She's a badass bitch and I highly recommend. The next book that I recently started after many recommendations and seeing many people love it online is Why Men Love Bitches by Sherry Argov. I highly recommend it and it will help you maybe flip your perspective on how you deal with men or maybe even women, whatever your preference is. The next question we have is advice for online college and staying motivated. I myself am doing Zoom University. It can be a little discouraging, and I kind of had a feeling about this going into it. Zoom class can be not as engaging. You can simply roll over in your bed, grab your laptop, put your laptop on your lap, sign into Zoom, and go back to bed, and your teacher would never know. However, I don't think that is the best practice for doing online school. I think it's really important to distinguish a place of work in your house or your apartment, wherever it may be, or even if you have to leave, go outside, go to a coffee shop, go to the library, find a place that you are going to identify mentally as, this is my workplace. Just like you would go to school and learn, or you would go to the office to work on your job, you need to set a place that is separate from your place of rest. By doing that, you're going to be more focused and hopefully be more productive and efficient and engaged. I also think you should put away all distractions. So put your phone on mute or do not disturb, hide it, leave it in a separate room. You don't need it, and to handwrite your notes and lecture. I find that helps me remember it and also stay more engaged. I also think using a planner is super helpful to help you stay on top of everything. I know that when all your classes are online, it can be super overwhelming and it can be easy to get lost in all the deadlines. I highly recommend using Google Calendar and a physical planner, which my favorite is my passion planner. Definitely let me know on the Instagram for the podcast, Morning Rae Podcast, if you want to hear an episode on how I use Google Calendar and my passion planner to stay organized and on top of my life. Being super busy can make it really easy to fall into a dinner time recipe rut, or even with your lunches. Any meal, honestly, can get you into a rut, especially with a busy schedule this fall. You can keep mealtime exciting with over 40 recipes to choose from every single week, so there's always something delicious to discover with HelloFresh. It's truly a no-brainer. It does all the shopping and meal planning for you. Ingredients arrive at your doorstep, pre-proportioned and ready to cook, along with pictured step-by-step recipe cards. It's never been easier. I personally love HelloFresh as a way to get exposure to new recipes, make my life a bit easier as a busy 20-year-old in the city. And I love that it's worry-free, it's super easy, it's convenient, and gets delivered straight to my door. Go to hellofresh.com/50rae and use code 50rae for 50% off plus free shipping. That's hellofresh.com/50rae and use code 50rae, 50rae for 50% off plus free shipping. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit, and thank you for sponsoring today's episode of Morning Rae.
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
How long have you been on social media for? Why did you start? How did you start? And how did you not listen to other people's judgments or be fearful of them? So I started my Instagram page, Lanny Be Fit, back in January 2018. So we're coming up on 3 years. Crazy. I started it simply because everyone else was starting food pages in my friendship circle. Yes, I hopped on the bandwagon, but I stayed on the bandwagon and I'm still here. I'm thriving and I'm loving it. How did I not listen to other people's judgment? I decided that I finally wanted to do something for me and to just pursue it. I'd always wanted to start a YouTube channel, and I thought an Instagram would be an easier way to put myself out there and build an audience, get to know people, kind of track my own fitness journey. So that is what I did, and it stuck. Someone asked the #1 tip for someone who wants to start a side project like a blog, YouTube channel, or etc. I'm going to give you advice that I got from the Skinny Confidential podcast, which I highly recommend, and I believe it was Michael Bostic who said it. Launch fast and adjust later. I am such a perfectionist. I feel that I have to have something absolutely perfect and know everything before I launch it. But what I've learned is that if I just launch fast and adjust later, I will be so much happier. I will actually do it, and the turnout can be a lot better. Like, for example, when I came up with this idea of doing this podcast, all I wanted to do was work on this podcast, and we literally got it up in a week. Kid you not? A week ago today, me and Leah decided, hey, we're starting this podcast, and we started brainstorming. And here we are 1 week later with our first episode being published, launched, released. I don't really know the term. My favorite place I traveled is something that someone asked. And I would have to say Israel. Now, I am Jewish and I know there can be hate towards us, but I don't care. I love Israel. Israel's beautiful and I think everyone should visit it. It is great and it is truly one of a kind. On top of Israel, I would probably also say South Africa. That's where my parents are from. It is pretty beautiful. The sunsets and sunrises are spectacular. And in terms of vacation, like tropical vacation, I would probably say Los Cabos in Mexico. I love it there. It is perfect. What are your daily affirmations? I like to practice daily affirmations in my journal. You can also practice them by speaking them out loud to yourself while looking at yourself in the mirror. Or I've seen some people write them on a sticky note and have it by the mirror so that they're actively seeing it each day. I personally like to write them in my journal. You can practice different methods and see which is best for you. But the reason why I like to do daily affirmations is it really helps you learn how to love yourself and be content with you both physically and mentally. The first daily affirmation, and the one that I've been using for the past few months now, is I am in love with myself and my body. Now, I didn't make this myself. I did find it on the internet, and I highly recommend that if you're ever looking for any daily affirmations, to definitely check it out. I like to search self-love daily affirmations. The next one I'm going to share with you is one that a follower shared with me on a recent Instagram post I shared on Lanny Be Fit, and it is I am healthy, whole, and complete. Now, I really liked this daily affirmation and feel it was a really good way to view myself without adding any diet culture nonsense to the mix and just to be okay with myself and whoever I may be. Now, daily affirmations kind of leads me into journaling. You guys always ask me how I started journaling and how I remain consistent with it. Well, journaling I wanted to do for the longest time, and I just could never figure out how to do it or what to write about. I was kind of nervous. I didn't really know how to approach it. I would do mind dumping. I had a journal or diary, as I used to call it, since grade 7, and I would kind of do mind dumps. Whenever I felt like I needed to release something or think something through, I would write it out. This is a really good coping mechanism if you struggle with anxiety or potentially depression or overwhelming thoughts. I highly recommend doing mind dumps. However, every day I like to follow prompts. Now, I've slowly started to make my own prompts, but I did start with the prompts that my best friend Kenzie gave to me. These prompts were really great and they helped me reflect on both my past day, my current day that I was living, and kind of get a bit grounded and be aware of my thoughts. I also started to use prompts that I found from my friends on Instagram, such as Lifestyle with Kath and my friend Sophia. I'm also starting to share my own prompts that I've started to make, and they will actually be live today on my Instagram, so definitely check that out. It's Lanny Be Fit. In terms of being consistent with journaling and getting into a routine and habit of journaling, I highly recommend either journaling in the morning when you wake up or before bed. I personally find this will allow you to do it consistently without making excuses. If you run out of time in the morning or you're in a rush, you can do it before bed. If you're too tired before bed, you can do it in the morning. There's nothing really stopping you from doing it. Plus, it kind of sets the tone for your day or helps finish your day on a good note. I personally love doing it in the morning, but definitely find out what time of day works best for you. Use prompts and you are set. Also, make sure you have a bomb journal that you love writing in with a pen you love writing with. I personally like the Pentel pens and this bullet journal from Amazon. It's a soft-bound leather journal. It's pretty small, but it does the trick. A listener asked, advice on being happy and single. I think the best way to be happy and single is to learn how to love yourself and to be content with yourself. Really get to know yourself. Get to learn what your passions are, what you enjoy doing, and be 100% whole on your own. I really think surrounding yourself with friends and family who love and support you and uplift you is key, as well as doing your own thing, whether it be a hobby or maybe like me, doing social media, having a job that I love, and grinding at school in subjects that I love learning about. The last question we have for today's Q&A is how to make your sleep schedule better. Now, I'm no pro at finding out how to get the best sleep of your life to wake up feeling refreshed and rejuvenated, but I have noticed some things that definitely help me keep my sleep schedule a little more regular and help me wake up at 6:30 a.m. feeling energized and ready to take on the day. What I've noticed is when I use my phone before bed or when I'm watching YouTube or Netflix before bed, it is 1, harder for me to fall asleep, 2, my sleep isn't as good, and 3, I usually go to bed way later than I planned. So I remove my electronics from my bedside table. I now plug in my phone at the end of my bed where I can't just be mindlessly scrolling on TikTok, looking at Dixie and Noah, dreaming that I had a relationship like that, because #single. I highly recommend removing your phone, whether you plug it in your bathroom, on your dresser, leaving it in a separate room, at the end of your bed, on the floor, not where you are in your bed. That really helps. I also really think that deciding the time that you want to wake up, so for me, 6:30 a.m., counting back 8 hours from that, and deciding that is when your head is going to hit the pillow, the lights are going to go off, and you're going to PTFO. Around half an hour to an hour before that time, you want to start winding down and getting into bed. I like to take my makeup off. I like to wash my face, brush my teeth, get into some comfy PJs, put on my lamp, and read a book. Yes, it may sound boring or tedious, but it's kind of therapeutic in a way, and it helps me get more tired before sleep, and I end up sleeping better. So definitely try that out. I also highly recommend putting all your devices onto night mode from sunset to sunrise to limit your blue light intake and to wear blue light glasses. That really helps. Blue light helps keep you up, so if you eliminate that, you'll be able to sleep a lot better. I hope those tips were super helpful, and I hope you guys enjoyed this little Q&A segment of the podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed my first episode of the Morning Rae. I'm so excited to be able to talk to you guys more and get to chat a little bit deeper on more real and raw topics. And check out the podcast Instagram, the Morning Rae podcast. DM us any of your requests for our episodes or any topics or questions you have. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. I love you guys so much, and we'll chat soon. Bye.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Judy was boring.
Hello.
Then Judy discovered ChumbaCasino.com.
It's my little escape.
Now Judy's the life of the party.
Oh, baby, mama's bringing home the bacon.
Whoa, take it easy, Judy. The Chumba life is for everybody. So go to ChumbaCasino.com and play over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.